Welcome to Airborne on staugustine.com, bringing interesting people from your world so you can stay dialed into your community and the folks who make it tick. We're in blue jeans today on Airborne. I have a special guest, Cash McVeigh. Cash, welcome. Cash is involved and the director of CitySprout. Well, you know, why am I explaining it? Welcome, Cash. Why don't you explain CitySprout to our viewers?
Well, thanks very much for having us on. CitySprout's basically a nonprofit organization that we started, community organization, and our goal is to build a network of community gardens throughout the city of St. Augustine.
Go ahead.
And link them together so we can all share, resources and expertise.
Wow. Whose wonderful idea was this? What was its origin? Tell us.
Well, community garden is certainly nothing new, and there's been a lot of important people in our community that have tried and actually started some, like at the COA.
Right.
That's a flower garden. But it's a trend that's sweeping the nation right now, and basically we came up with the idea. My wife and I were sitting around last year getting inspired by all the positive energy that was in the air, and we said, hey, what can we do for the community? And I've always kind of been concerned about how our food distribution system is heavily dependent on inexpensive energy, and we just kind of mixed that with doing something good for the neighborhood and zeroed in on community gardens and started CitySprout as a nonprofit to funnel all the energies that are out there percolating into, fine-tune them into, bringing ideas from concept to reality.
Is the timing for this sort of thing right? I remember we all got a nice reality check last summer when gas went up to $4 a gallon, and if it weren't bad enough, we started to see it reflected in our grocery bills. Yeah. Is that related to what you're describing about our food distribution?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately energy prices have come down, but, I think, as our economy gets out of the malaise we're in,
right.
Once we bounce back, and especially if India and China continue to emulate our consumption-based society, energy prices are going to go up. Who knows where they're going to end up, but, getting a tomato from California and lettuce from Mexico, it just doesn't make any sense. And one of these, the idea of the concept behind the community garden is not necessarily that everybody's going to be able to be accommodated through community gardens. It's basically some will that have their plots in there and that share their food, but the community gardens create awareness as to where our food is produced, and hopefully that creates more concepts and ideas out there to link our community with local farmers so we can produce more locally.
So that Mexican lettuce or that Californian tomato probably tastes great in Mexico and California, but by the time they get to us, they tend to be lacking in something, and that's part of the distribution as well, isn't it?
True, but more importantly, it's just the actual calories that it takes to get it from there over there is 10 times as much as what you get out of it, and it just doesn't make any sense in the long run. One of the big things that we believe that we're going to hear coming up locally when fuel prices do go back up is alternative energies, which are great. I'm a big proponent of solar and wind and anything alternative. However, the most effective program is energy conservation.
Right.
And growing your food locally is a huge energy conservation program, because you're not having to truck it all over the place.
It's not only most effective, it's proven.
True.
It's something that has a track record. Conservation efforts have been proven
yeah.
and benefit us all. So these are some of the things that make community gardens important. What are some less tangible things?
Well, I think just one of the main reasons why we wanted to do this for the neighborhood of Lincolnville and other neighborhoods around St. Augustine is it brings neighbors together, creates a opportunity for social interaction, mm-hmm. and it's really needed. I think in these neighborhoods, especially right now while we're going through this malaise, it's good to get together, not worry so much about TV and everything that's going on, and just as neighbors communicate with one another. And the gardens, I'm not an expert gardener. I'm learning. But what I can say about gardening is I think there's something ingrained in everybody that attracts you to gardening, because this is my second season doing it in my own little backyard garden,
Right.
and I absolutely love it. It's the greatest thing to go out there and plant and see your produce growing right there in front of you, and it gives you a lot of joy. So if you can get all your neighbors out there doing a similar experience, everybody's happy, everybody's exchanging ideas, it can only lead to a better place to live.
Now, I also understand with gardening that it seems that it spreads. Is that correct? Like, in other words, one neighbor begins it, and before you know it, the neighborhood, individually, but also in a community sense as well.
That's what we're hoping.
Yeah?
We're hoping it spreads like wildflower, and we have gardens all over the place. I mean, that's the vision.
Yeah. Now, there are some projects you're working on right now, aren't there? Tell us about it.
Well, we're working on the Lincolnville Community Garden, and it's at the end of Riberia Street,
Right.
in Eddie Vickers Park. We're set to present in front of the City Commission on April 27th, where we hope to secure approval to move forward. Once we get that approval, we'll have an agreement in place that allows us to use a portion for gardening, for a community garden. Now that, we're going to do it in phases, but essentially what it's going to have is a edible grove,
Right.
which is that's going to consist of fruit trees and nut trees, and that's going to be purely for the community. And then we're going to have these raised garden boxes, and there's going to be 6 of them, about 1,000 square feet each, and that will be enough to accommodate about 60 to 70 gardeners. Now, one other component we're going to have in there is we're going to have a workshop, which we hope to have classes for. We're hoping to develop programs with the 4-H program,
Right.
Council on Aging, Deaf and Blind School. We're just, the technical college. We're hoping everybody gets involved and actually does garden demonstrations, and teaches kids how to garden from that.
I also understand you've been, first of all, I wanted to ask you, what has the response been like? That's a loaded question. I already know it's been great, but you've had some interest from areas as diverse as the slow food movement in getting involved, and others as well. What's it been like?
Well, it's we set up a website in November, and we to date, I checked it this morning, we've had over 2,500 hits.
Wow.
On the website, and that's with really little to no advertising.
Yeah,
It's just been word of mouth. We've collected over 200 emails of interested neighbors who want to get involved, and we had a meeting back in a neighborhood meeting back in January that we had 50 people show up, 50 plus people, and 30 people signed up for garden plots. So it's really been phenomenal how much interest is generated. And the city's been great. I mean, we've been working with the city staff, and they have helped us along the way, and hopefully we're going to get that approval from the City Commission, and we'll be able to start. As far as the slow foods movement, they're encouraging definitely the community gardens, and I've been to a couple of their meetings, keeping them updated on our progress. I must say that is a outstanding group of people. It's a lot of important people go there, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to link local farmers with the cities through these CSAs and broaden awareness that's important to grow food locally. So anybody who's into energy conservation and environmentalists, this is an excellent way to change how we do things around here, and would definitely encourage you to go to a slow food meeting.
Terrific. And for our viewers who would like to learn more, what are the best ways? You mentioned a website. Would you share with us that website?
Yeah, our website is CitySprout.org, and you can go there, and we have email addresses if you want to contact us. Everything, we're updating everything on the blog there, so you can see what we're doing and where we've been. As far as people getting involved, we just want everybody to dive in feet first. Some people may not have enough time to do that. We do have certain donation programs that are available. They can donate directly. We have a fruit tree donation program where we can name a fruit tree after you, and that would be part of the edible grove.
We're going to have T-shirts coming pretty soon.
Show us your T-shirt
Well,
there. Yeah, let's get the.
Well, this isn't the T-shirt that's coming. This was done by Chris at Skinny Lizard T-shirt printers, and he may be up some of these to get the word out. But
Right.
we're going to have a really nice. It's going to say CitySprout, and we're going to have those coming for sale. And then we're going to be part of Love Your Mother fashion show that's coming up, which is going to be a benefit to benefit local environmental charities, and we got a couple other things we're working on. But yeah, just hit the website and you know, determine which way you want to help out.
Excellent. Cash McVeigh, the director of CitySprout right here in St. Augustine. I hope you can come back and keep us abreast of this project, because I know it's going to develop, and again, pardon the pun, but it's going to grow, and we'd like to know about it right here on Airborne.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my
Definitely
pleasure.
back.
My pleasure. Cash McVeigh with CitySprout. If you'd like to learn more, check out the website. And you've been Airborne with Matt Jeffs on staugustine.com, bringing interesting people from your world so you can stay dialed into your community and the folks who make it tick. See you next time, everybody.